Hi John, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
That's good. We're doing the BSBCMM 211 Apply Communication Skills today. So this is the first part. We've got 3 parts in total. So welcome to the course. We're just going to start. I'll get you to sign the record of attendance. This is just to say that you've been here today and you've attended. So if you could just sign that for me. So my name is Lynda Haydon. And today's date is the 21st of April. And the training program here is what's on the screen here, BSB CMM.
Yep, I got that.
211. So just your name here for me. And we'll just tick that you attended training. And the rest I can do later, that's fine. Thanks for that. I'll just take that one and put that over here. So that's just basically our record to say that you attended training, and that will help with any, if we need to get certificates out to you as well. So just need to make sure that we have your name on there. For today's session, I'm actually going to record it. So I just need, for the recording, just your verbal consent to say that you're happy for us to record this session.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with me. I'm a trainer, so I'm qualified in giving you this course, Apply Communication Skills. My background is, I have an accounting background and I also have a work health and safety background. So obviously both of those need in-depth communication skills, need to be able to talk clearly to all types of people, and also be able to communicate and understand what people want. So today we're going to work through this. So we thought to start off with, we're going to do a little icebreaker, and it's a little name tent like this. And it's just going to give us some background on you and what you do. So the objective of the icebreaker is to break the ice. So we can become better acquainted, so that I can see what sort of things you need to learn. It'll help provide focus on the topic. And it'll take about 5 minutes, not even, a couple of minutes. So this is a sample name tent that we're going to start with. So what I'll do is I'll give you a blank piece of paper. And there's a pen. All right, so, and I ask you to fold the paper into thirds for me. So just 3 or even quarters, whichever. So thirds is best. And then we're going to make a triangle with the name tent. On one side's going to be the bottom. Yep. And that will remain blank. And the front of the name tent is for your name. So if you could put your name on the front for me, that would be fantastic. Okay, and the back of the tent we're going to divide into 4 windows, similar to this here. And I'm going to ask 4 things about yourself in each pane. So the first one is your worst fear. So what would be your worst fear?
Do I write it then?
Yes, that would be fantastic.
Do I write worst fear?
No, that's fine. We'll know what it is because it's just the 2 of us. So you could just write down what your worst fear is.
Yep.
Okay, and the next one is an interest. So what's an interest, one of your hobbies? What do you like to do? And the next one is your best vacation spot. Somewhere where you've been. And the last one is your favourite sport. So this can be either one that you play or one that you like to watch, something like that. Okay, so just the next part of this is, it's more about communication. So this is more about me finding out about your communication style. So if you could just tell me quite loud and clear your worst fear.
There's snakes.
Is there something in particular about snakes you don't like?
No, just don't like them.
And what about a hobby? What's an interest or hobby?
Camping and travelling.
Okay, so how do you go camping and travelling with snakes?
Yeah, struggle.
You struggle, you
Yep.
see them sometimes?
Yeah.
Best vacation spot?
Anywhere remote Australia.
Okay, so have you been camping or travelling in remote Australia?
Yep. Yeah, done a lot of remote Australia.
What sort of communication did you use to keep contact with people when you're in remote Australia?
It's hard, but yeah, just phone, maybe.
Yep, okay. And your favourite sport?
I like fishing.
Did you get a chance to do much fishing?
No.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
Probably a mackerel. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for that. We'll just put that aside for now. But that was more just, breaking the ice, making sure that we're talking. I like camping as well.
Yep.
And did you know I'm a snake handler, which
Yeah.
is a bit different? Okay. So we'll move on to applying communication skills in the workplace. So basically, before we start though, we need to go through some housekeeping. So this is just for the 3 parts of this course. We'll have to identify our housekeeping. You need to be aware of these things are. I've done a check of the premises. I've checked on our safe work practices. If there is any time or anything that you feel where you're feeling unsafe, or if you see a cord or anything that's dangerous, or you feel like you might trip over, or if there's anything you see that you feel unsafe with, please let me know as soon as possible, and we can make that rectified. Okay, so we've also got some housekeeping, as you can see here. Evacuation, so we need to make sure it's safe. We have doors at the front and there's a door at the back here. If safe, walk calmly out the front door to the muster point. The muster point is on the grass patch across the road over there. If you can see for me, can you identify that? Yep. And so that's our evacuation. In case of fire or emergency, I will just tell you to calmly get up and evacuate, and we'll walk safely to that place. Facilities. So we have some facilities available on the premises. We have a kitchen behind us, and there's bathrooms over here behind you.
Yep.
So if you need a break at all, just let me know.
No worries.
Okay. Phones, if you have your mobile phone on you, can you just silence it so we don't have any interruptions?
Yeah, it's off.
Yep. And if required, take calls outside. So if anything urgent comes in, let's take it outside. We'll have a break every 30 minutes so you can get up and stretch.
Yep.
I know that you do have an issue with your arm, so just making sure that you're looking after that as well. And smokers, so there's no smoking in the building, and there's designated smoking areas out the front of the building. So please utilise that for smoking and vaping. Do you have any questions about any of the housekeeping?
Not on that.
No?
That's good.
Okay. So we're going to move on to outlining the course. So for this section, we're going to gain knowledge and skills of applying basic communication skills in the workplace. So it'll allow you to gain, so this will include identifying, gathering and conveying information, along with completing assigned written information. So this is our outline as a basis. And at the end of this program, you'll be able to identify communication requirements, demonstrate active listening, and we will go through what active listening is. You'll be able to use verbal techniques to seek and convey information. You'll also use non-verbal skills to seek and convey information as well. And we'll also draft written documents that meet organisation requirements. Have you got any questions about what were our learning objectives are today.
No.
If you have anything come up throughout the course, make sure you let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this course is assessed. So skills in this unit must be demonstrated in a workplace or in a simulated environment where conditions are typical of those in a workplace in the industry. So these include access to workplace policy and procedures and relating to communication. So the assessment for this course, to pass this course, you'll need to do a knowledge assessment, which will take an hour. It includes short answer questions and a case study scenario, and we'll go into this in further detail later. And there's also a practical assessment of 1 hour. So we'll do some projects individually, and there'll be group projects later on, and we'll do those with observations.
Is that knowledge assessment, is that writing or on a computer?
So the knowledge assessment is written.
Yeah.
Yep, we don't have anything in this part that is
Yep.
computer based.
Yeah. I just have trouble writing a lot. That's right. We'll worry about that later.
Yeah, well, when we come to it, if you feel like you need a break at any time, just stop,
Yep.
pause, we can have a 5-minute break, and then we can come back to it.
Yep.
We can look at it when that happens. So obviously there'll be a lot of feedback given. This is a communication course. It is part of the course that you communicate with me and I communicate with you. And we have a little bit of to and froing, and we're also giving feedback to each other. So when we are giving feedback, we just need to make sure to each other, and me to you as well, we're being positive. We're choosing positive words, like giving positive feedback. Consider your timing when you're giving feedback. Make sure we're not interrupting. Put your hand up. Identify when you want to interrupt. And also use empathy. So just making sure that we're being respectful for each other. When receiving feedback from me or I'm receiving feedback from you, we need to make sure we're listening to the feedback that's given. We're aware of our responses. We understand the message, be open, and we always thank when we're giving feedback and follow up after. Have you got any questions about that?
No.
With the two of us in the room, I'm sure that we can just be respectful of each other at all times. Okay, so session 1 is all about communicating effectively with others. So this is communication between you and other people. So we'll work on this. Okay, so I'll just go back. So communicating effectively with others, and there's a few scenarios where we do communicate with others. So on here, there's face-to-face meetings. There's the intranet. Can you think of any other ways that you communicate with others?
Yeah, phone. Yeah, phone and just talking, I guess. Yep.
Yep. So we've got the intranet. So we use our internal intranet. You would use the internal intranet at work, especially in the call centre. So that's one way. Text messaging.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure, in your workplace you might have that instant messaging through Teams.
Yeah.
So that's another way. Obviously there's written communication. Employee surveys are a really good way of communicating. That way you can give feedback and the company can understand where things are going wrong or going right. And notice boards. They're another way of really being able to communicate across. So do you use any of these in your workplace?
Yeah, we've got the notice boards and we've got a form of intranet, but I'm not real good at it, but I stumble through.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you don't understand, how do you communicate that you don't understand it?
No, I've got people there to help, but yeah, it's we get through.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so obviously work in like a hospitality call centre environment. So why would you need to communicate effectively in hospitality?
To get the job done in time and in a good manner.
Yeah. So communication is very important in the hospitality workplace. It's a service industry where you deal with customers all the time. Effective communication is important to understand what customers want, because if you don't understand what they want, you can't actually give them the service that they require. So give customers a good impression of the business. So the way you communicate with the customers is quite reputational on the company itself as well, especially in a call centre. Effective communication helps workmates get along with their teams. Yeah. Effective communication prevents misunderstandings.
Yep.
Yeah. And it also builds your organisation's reputation. Can you think of any other reasons why effective communication is good in hospitality?
No, basically just get out what your company does, I suppose, to the broader community. Another one, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. All right, so effective. So we're just going to do a few little discussion questions here. And obviously you've seen these before. So we've just gone through face-to-face meetings, written communication, the intranet, employee surveys, text messaging and notice boards. And we have gone through a few of these questions in the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So some of these should be quite easy for you. Okay, so the first one is, it's on here, communication usage at your work.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit, so you're in a call centre, from the start of your day to the end of your day, how do you effectively communicate in your workplace? So you come in the morning, and how does that work?
Yeah, we have a team meeting, but then we go into our workplaces, and and then we take the calls. It all depends what's happened in that work meeting in the morning.
Yep.
And then basically take the calls throughout the day. And then we have another discussion in the afternoon of how the day went. But the intranet's a big thing in our day to day. But like I said before, it's hard to control, but a lot of people in our business can use it. But that's one thing I do struggle with, and our company doesn't really have anything to help us with that one. So I don't know a lot about the intranet, but it is well used in the company.
Yeah, have you communicated that with your supervisor?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
There's no real help with the intranet in our company. So that's one thing I do struggle with.
Yeah, so hopefully coming out of today, you can use some effective listening strategies and learn some communication strategies so that you can talk to your supervision, talk to your manager, so that they understand that you are struggling.
Yeah, can do.
Let's see how we go with that. Yeah. So you were saying that you use the intranet a lot?
Yeah. Or the company does, yeah.
Yep. So can you provide me some examples of the communication channels used in your workplace? So what other channels do you use? You mentioned the internet. So in your workplace, when you come in the morning, say you come in and you said that there was a notice board.
Yeah, so it's notice board, and then pre-starts, and we do within the company, like the different departments within the company, and then in the afternoon they have a company-wide, like the leaders of each company, each division get together and discuss what's happening within the company. So it's a lot of verbal meetings, and then the intranet, and then just emails on the computer, I guess. I don't know if there's too many others.
Yeah, okay. And is there any one that works more effectively than the other with the groups? Or do you see that there's one way of communicating? What works more effectively?
No, the best one that works well, especially with me and my actual area of the business, is phone. Like we work like communicate, just voice communication is the best way for us.
Yeah, in the call centre.
Yeah.
And that's obviously with the client as well.
Yeah.
Are there any strategies that you feel work best with the clients?
No, can't think of one straight off the head. No, just no.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. Who should you communicate effectively with and why?
Well, it needs to be the team, like the team leaders to keep the like the business running as it should, and everybody's on the same page. So I guess it doesn't matter who the client's talking to.
Yeah.
We can we know, we all know what's happening within the company.
Yep. And what about your customers?
Yeah.
Why would you need to have effective communication with your customers?
Yeah. So they've got like when they ring us, they know what they're going to get. They know the service they're going to get, and as we know what we're going to tell them, then the customers are happy with the service we give them.
Yeah. So how do you know if the customer's not happy with the service that you're giving them?
They would complain, I guess.
Does their voice change? Is their wording different?
It could, yeah. Sometimes it can change, and then we've got a department that will look after that. So we refer them to another department if they're not happy with the service we're giving them.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, communicating effectively with your clients makes a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely.
In how they respond to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to the next one, poor communication experiences in your workplace examples. So can you recall experiences where communication has not been effective in your workplace?
No, there was, like I was saying before, like if each team's not talking to each other, there was a time when people are off work and then someone else has to take that call, and the clients are expecting that we know what's happening, and it's not the case, and then that's when the client gets upset because they're assuming that the company knows what's happening, and just because that particular person that's dealing with it's not there, then that's when there's a breakdown. So that's why you need good communication within the company to make sure that everybody working there knows what's happening with that client. Yeah.
And then maybe from your own experience, a little bit of a barrier to communication with your superintendent or supervisor, not knowing that you're not great with the intranet. Do you think that affects your work?
It could possibly affect it, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you know what would be the barrier to that communication? Is there something in particular?
Probably never asked, never reached out. It's not something that's implemented in the company, so just never reached out, I guess.
Yeah, okay. And how would you approach that now with your supervisor, now that it's been recognised?
Probably be able to discuss it, see if there is something out there that we could probably try and put in place. Yeah,
they potentially might have some training slides.
Yeah.
There might be things in the background that you're not quite aware of, and your leader might not even be aware of them.
Yeah.
So it might be worthwhile going back to them, and they might be able to find something for you. Yeah, what about positive communication? So positive, effective communication in the workplace. Can you reflect on somewhere where there's some time where there's been really good communication?
No, just basically day-to-day stuff. Like when there's good, when there's a good meetings in the morning and good communication spread throughout the company in the morning, then it just runs better through the whole day. So yeah, good communication in the morning, like kick off the day. It just gets the day underway, and so good pre-start meetings, good toolboxes in the morning.
Okay. So what's a sign of good communication? What makes you feel like, yep, that was good communication, I know exactly what to do, that's a great experience?
When the supervisor's out there and he's positive and clear in what he says, so he makes sure that everybody knows what they want from him and knows what to expect for that day.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Nice and clear.
Yeah, perfect. So that's basically just some ways for effective listening and effective communication. So just looking back on your experiences and then seeing how it is identified in your workplace, and hopefully we've got a few little things that you can learn and implement in your workplace. So we're going to look at another activity here. It's effective communication outside the workplace. So this is about verbal feedback. And we're going to think about and share verbally. So we're going to do this, and this is where I've taken into account that you have your arms. So we're doing a lot of verbal work in this session. So think about 3 ways effective communication can be useful outside your workplace. So we're moving away from work now, and we're looking outside your workplace. So when you're at home, when you're at the coffee shop, when you're playing sport, something like that. So what are 3 ways effective communication can be useful outside your workplace?
Well, it'd be the same as work, really, just so everybody's communicating on the same level. Everybody knows what's happening, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. So what other purposes, let me rephrase it perhaps, what other purposes can we use communication for?
So you know what's happening?
Yeah. So if we're thinking about maybe the news, so obviously the news is a form of communication. We're either looking at it in the newspaper, we can look at it off the television. So that kind of communication, why would that be useful to us?
So everyone's informed of what's happening, I guess.
Keep us informed, keep us up to date with what's going on.
Yeah.
And we can learn more about the world, that kind of things. What about in like when you're relaxing, what kind of communication that would be relaxing with the family? Or going somewhere with the family, what if you have a lot of communication, how does that make that interaction with the family?
It just makes it more easier to communicate. I don't know, easier to communicate.
Yeah. Do you find you're all on the one page?
Yep.
A bit better. Yep.
Know what's happening.
Know what's happening. Yep. So there's many different types of communication. We could have books. So reading books can help as well. There's the news. So communication is really important, not only just at the workplace, but also outside the workplace. So that was the intent of that activity, was really just to let us think about how much we communicate and what types of communication there are as well. And not all communication is good communication either. And sometimes you can be over communicated to do as well. Communication helps us share ideas, knowledge, thoughts and feelings, helps us exchange information on, even on your marketplace and that, we're exchanging information through communication. Effective communication can help us influence and persuade other people, and it also helps us conduct business. Yeah. Have you got any questions, or is there anything else that you wanted to add to that communication slide?
No, I don't think so, but I think just a few things that we said today that I'll be able to go back now, and things that I wasn't sure about, I'll be able to sort of ask the questions now and be able to communicate a bit more, I think.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. So that's the end of this session. The learning outcomes covered in the session, what we were meant to cover was communicating effectively with others. I've asked you if you had any questions, and you've just said to me that you feel like you can communicate better with in the workplace. So we're just going to review a few things that we've just learnt. So can you provide 3 examples of effective communication?
No, you got the meetings, face-to-face meetings, internet, telephone calls. Goes down to Facebook. Anything like that. Yeah, notice boards, toolbox meetings.
Yep. And what effective communication strategy will you implement after our session today to be a more effective communicator?
Probably more face-to-face and asking the questions.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. So, learning outcomes we've gone through. So next session will be we're going to have a little break, and then we're going to come back and do our next session. So the next session will be demonstrating active listening. So active listening is a really good form of effective communication that we've just all gone through. And they will be active listening skills, questioning skills, verbal skills, non-verbal skills. So, and they all make up our communication toolbox. So I just want to say thank you very much for your time today. Have you got any final questions that you would like to go through?
No.
Anything you'd like? So this would be a really good time for you to have a break. We'll have a 10-minute break. Take a breath, go outside, have something to eat, maybe give your arm a little break, and then we can come back and we'll regather and regroup. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.